In this video, I'm going to walk you through the easiest path from basically broke all the way up to 10 million GP. Making your first 10 million GP in Old School RuneScape as a brand new player is so easy, especially if you follow this simple step-by-step plan that teaches you how to properly play and progress fast, using methods that a base level 30s account and under can realistically do. We'll start with very chill, low-intensity methods, then step up into real money as your stats, gear, and cash stack improve. We're going to move through 4 milestones: 0 to 1 mil, 1 to 3 mil, 3 to 6 mil, and 6 to 10 mil. And at each stage, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, roughly how much you can expect to make, and when it's time to switch to the next method. Now, one important disclaimer before we start. All GP per hour numbers in this video are estimates. They change with the Grand Exchange prices, your stats, your gear, and how hardcore or AFK you play. Also, I'm assuming you're a member, you have access to the Grand Exchange, and you're somewhere around 30 base stats or on your way there. Now, let's jump right into it. With one big thing, always do herb runs. Before we talk about step 1, there's one thing you should start doing as soon as you can, and keep doing all the way until 10 mil and beyond. Herb runs. Once you unlock herbs like Renar, Toadflax, Irit, and Avanto, a full herb run using multiple patches, ultra compost, and ideally magic secateurs can easily be worth 200 to 350k profit per run and only take a few minutes. You can gain over 150k per full run doing Irits, and often over 200k per run doing herbs like Renars and Toadflax. But the main point is, every 80 minutes or so, go do a herb run. Throughout your entire account's progression, you'll have a massive passive moneymaker that will start printing cash for your account and help you drastically get past stage 1, which the goal is to hit your first 1 million GP while training basic skills and getting used to the game. We are going to work on building your account to be an absolute money-making machine in the near future. I quickly wanted to hop in here and let you know that I run a free weekly OSRS newsletter called Drop Rate. Within Drop Rate, every week I comb through the game and send you a 5-minute recap on everything important that happened in Old School RuneScape. That includes the strongest moneymakers out right now, current PVM strategies, big meta shifts, and the market movements you can actually profit from all in one email. Each edition of Drop Rate is broken into tight sections: verified GP and hour methods, update notes translated into what you should actually do, false tactics that are just coming out and tested, plus market intel so you can spot flips and opportunities before everybody else catches on. There are also giveaways, community highlights, and unique gameplay tactics packed in for those of you who want every edge you can get. Thousands of OSRS players are already signed up to Drop Rate. It's always free, and when you join, you instantly get my guide, the 100 most profitable ways to make money on OSRS, as a nice little welcome bonus. So if you want your bank, your game knowledge, and your week's game plan leveled up in just a few minutes, hit the link in the description or head to droprate.gg and join Drop Rate before the next issue drops. I'll see you guys there. One of the easiest AFK gathering skills is woodcutting. If you chop willows and maples, starting at 30 woodcutting for willows, you'll make 30,000 GP per hour. You can find willows in Draenor Village or south of Remington, and you can find maple trees in Sears Village. There's a bank that is very close to all of these spots. This profit is very low, but it's extremely AFK and safe. Fishing. Lobsters, tuna, and salmon will bring you around 20 to 25k GP per hour. You'll want to fish lobsters at Catherby or Musa Point, or fly fish salmon and trout at Barbarian Village. Bank your fish, and at this stage, you're going to want to treat fishing as experience with a small GP bonus. While starting your brand new account, you can rotate between woodcutting and fishing if you get bored. And while you're doing this, a nice bonus is picking up easy clue scrolls when they drop. Every single time you do an easy clue scroll, you have a chance at a big unique. And just one of these items can change the pace of your money-making journey. While you're woodcutting, trees will randomly drop birds' nests, and some of them will contain easy clue scrolls. The same thing goes with fishing. While fishing, you'll be able to catch clue bottles, which will contain easy clues as well. Now, while you're doing this, you're going to want to start working on your farming, so you can start planting Renar and Toadflax. You're going to want to do this until your bank is around 200 to 300k in total. Step 1B, mining and cooking flips up to 1 million GP. Once you've learned the game a little bit and you've got some basic tools and teleports, let's move to a slightly better low-level moneymaker: mining gold and iron. Gold ore can bring you 60,000 GP per hour. You can mine gold ore at places like the Crafting Guild if you're able to get in, or the Alcarid Mine. You want to bank and sell the gold ore and rack up your mining experience. Motherlode Mine. Once you hit 30 mining, you'll get access to the Motherlode Mine. The Motherlode Mine is super AFK. It gives you golden nuggets for long-term unlocks, like a coal bag, which will be absolutely huge later on for another moneymaker. The GP here is roughly 70,000 GP an hour, better than mining gold ore, fishing, and woodcutting. And you're playing the long game here by unlocking useful gear. Iron ore. Once you're comfortable and your mining level is higher, if you mine iron ore efficiently, you can make over 300,000 GP per hour. Now, I do want to mention if you wanted to make that much, you'd have to use tick manipulation, which, unless you're up for it, is an entire challenge in of itself. But you can get a decent amount of GP per hour here by just doing focus clicking with a nearby bank or deposit box. Even if you choose not to do this as hardcore as possible, this will still massively outperform willow chopping and other methods. Cooking. Simple buy, cook, sell flips. You buy raw tuna, lobster, or bass on the GE. Then cook them in a fast bank spot like the Rogue's Den or Hosidius Kitchen. Then you sell your cooked fish back for profit. Typical profits with a decent cooking level and a low burn rate would grant you 20,000 GP per hour doing tuna, 35,000 GP an hour doing lobsters, and 95k an hour doing bass. Again, this is not top tier money, but it stacks with cooking experience and is super easy. Once your bank is sitting around 1 million GP and you've started doing regular herb runs, it's time to step into slightly more involved methods that give better returns. Which brings us into stage 2, from 1 million to 3 million GP. The goal here is to reach about 3 million GP total while progressing your combat and utility skills. At this stage, you should have some basic gear, around 1 million GP to play with, and better stats than a new fresh account. Varlamore Thieving. If your thieving is 50 plus and you've done Children of the Sun, you can start the Wealthy Citizens and House Keys method in Varlamore. You want to go to the Bazaar in Varlamore and pickpocket wealthy citizens when they're distracted. Each pickpocket will give you thieving experience, coins, and a chance at house keys. You're then going to want to use those house keys on the nearby locked houses to AFK steal valuables for a few minutes at a time. You can expect to make around 90 to 170,000 GP per hour here plus keys. Then, when you loot houses using those keys, you'll add another chunk of GP and XP, making this overall very comfortable and a semi-AFK money-making method for a low-level account. Slayer money tasks. Slayer is fantastic at this stage because it trains your combat, gives you points and unlocks, and passively earns you GP. For a money-focused low-level account, focus on cockatrices. You can make around 100 to 150k GP per hour here, with only 25 Slayer, a mirror shield, and basic melee gear as the requirements. You'll profit largely from herbs, alkables, and occasional uniques like Mystic Boots here, but more importantly, this is absolutely amazing for early Slayer levels. Brine Rats. Once you get 47 Slayer and completion of Olaf's quest, you can start doing Brine Rats. You can make 100 to 200,000 GP per hour here. The main drops include a Brine Saber, which is a nice early to mid-game weapon, along with noted raw fish and other loot. Blood Velds. At 50 Slayer, you can start farming Blood Velds. These are basically bags of alkables and herbs. You can make 150 to 200,000 GP per hour here. Whilst farming Blood Velds, make sure to bring high damage melee or ranged, plus Elk Runes. These are consistently strong GP an hour for low-level accounts. Now, if you rotate Slayer tasks with herb runs and some Varlamore thieving, you'll easily push your bank beyond 2 million GP while gaining valuable combat experience. Obor and Bryophyta. At this stage, after 50 Slayer, you're likely ready to do some of your first bit of low-level bossing. You have a 1 million GP per hour potential at Obor. You're going to be going for the Hill Giant Club here, and a lot of bonus rune gear and alkables while killing him. Bryophyta. Bryophyta requires Mossy Keys, and the GP per hour here is lower on average, but the Bryophyta's essence is a big ticket drop. These bosses are very good if you want to switch up the combat a little bit and see what your account is made of. If not, I would just ignore these entirely and stick to doing Slayer. Once your bank is around 3 million GP and you have decent combat stats, reasonable gear, teleport access, and a steady income of GP coming in, you're now ready to start stepping into some real money makers. Stage 3, from 3 mil to 6 mil. The goal of this stage is to turn your low level into a mid-level account and start making significantly more GP per hour. Once you're at this stage, you're able to start buying supplies in bulk to flip or process. And because of that, it's smart to lean into methods that require some GP to start, but pay you back heavily over time. One of the easiest ways to do that is by doing Blast Furnace. Blast Furnace is insanely strong for both experience and profit once you know what you're doing. You're going to want to come here at 40 smithing. and I highly recommend getting a set of ice gloves, and ideally a coal bag from the Motherlode mine. You're then going to want to buy iron and coal ores on the GE. Then use the blast furnace to smelt the bars at half the usual coal cost. Once you've done that, you sell the bars back on the GE and repeat. With decent efficiency and current prices, you can make 700 to 900,000 GP per hour here. You also could do blast furnace with iron bars, but it's usually less profit but still pretty reasonable at around 500,000 GP per hour at mid-level efficiency. Blast furnace is definitely not as AFK as other methods, but it's very rewarding. Abyss rune crafting. If you have decent combat, 40 plus rune crafting, and have done the Abyss mini quest, Abyss rune crafting is a very solid moneymaker. You're going to want to wear weight reducing gear, a glory for Edgeville teleports, and some defensive gear. Enter the Abyss via the Mage of Zamorak. Run to the altar, craft your runes, then glory teleport back to Edgeville, bank, and repeat. Depending on your rune crafting level and rune choice, you can make 300,000 GP per hour doing nature runes. You can also make 300 to 600,000 GP per hour making cosmic and chaos runes. The main big win here is that you're also gaining rune crafting experience, which is normally painful to train, but you're making gold at the same time. So you're killing two birds with one stone with this method.
Did you know that there's a few Discord servers that are dedicated on giving GP out? One way players make a lot of GP without necessarily playing in game is by entering giveaways that usually occur on YouTube videos, streams, social media posts, or Discord servers. Here's an example of a giveaway-based Discord server that gives hundreds of millions of GP, if not billions of GP away weekly. Everything they do is completely free to enter, and they also track any Twitch streamers that have giveaway in their title and have a notifier for anyone who's interested in that type of content. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you guys who want to join and have a passive way to make some GP.
Temperos. Now, if your fishing level is 35 or higher, and you want to try a PVM style skilling boss, Temperos is a really good all-rounder. You get good fishing experience, decent GP, a chance at a pet, and it's incredibly chill, repeatable content. You can comfortably earn 250 to 300,000 GP per hour here. Eclectic Implinks. If you have 50 hunter or higher, and some teleports and gear, Puro Implink hunting is a great mix of GP and clue scrolls. First, you want to enter Puro, then camp Eclectic Implinks either by running around or sitting at their spawn spots, giving you two choices. You either sell the jars directly, or you open them up for medium clue scrolls and test your luck on the rewards. You can commonly hit over 500,000 GP per hour doing this method, and once you get more experienced, under ideal conditions and max efficiency, you can even touch over 1.5 million GP per hour. If you decide to open these implinks, you can get medium clue scrolls. When doing medium clue scrolls, you have a chance of getting ranger boots, which at this current time are worth over 34 million GP. Next up is tanning green dragon hides. You can make 500 to 800,000 GP per hour doing these. First, you want to buy green dragon hide in bulk from the GE. Run to the Alcarid tanner, then tan them into green dragon hide leather. Once you have the leathers, you then sell them back to the GE. This is a timeless method to make some pretty GP per hour. It's straightforward and scales well with your cash stack. From 3 mil to 6 million GP, your route can look like this. Every 80 minutes you want to do an herb run. Then you want to pick one or two of the main money makers I just mentioned. Either Blast Furnace, Abyss Rune Crafting, Temporos, Eclectic Implings, or Green Dragonhide Tanning. At these rates, you'll get 6 million GP surprisingly fast, and be on your way to stage 4, 6 million to 10 million GP. In this stage, you're going to be leaning into stronger methods. Once starting this stage, you should have a decent cash stack, you've unlocked strong skilling and mid-game methods, and you can afford to invest a lot of your GP in supplies. Bringing us to the Grubby Chest. If you have 57 plus thieving and access to the 4th Oath dungeon, the Grubby Chest becomes a serious moneymaker. First, you want to buy Grubby Keys from the GE. Then you want to open the Grubby Chest repeatedly to loot potions, supplies, and other valuable items. Grubby Chest opening can be as high as 1 to 2 million GP per hour profit, but this will only work in your favor if you have enough GP to buy keys up front. This way you don't have to keep traveling back to the Grand Exchange and wasting time. The Crystal Chest. Just like Grubby Keys, the Crystal Chest can be very profitable. All you have to do is buy crystal keys at the Grand Exchange for good prices, or put them together yourself to save a little bit more money, and you can conservatively make around 600 to 1 million GP per hour. Double down. If you found a method in stage 3 that you don't hate, and it makes 500 to 1 million plus GP per hour, you can honestly just spam that to 6 to 10 million GP pretty quickly. Putting it all together, here's the full route in simple terms. 0 to 1 million GP, you can AFK woodcutting and fishing, start mining gold, iron, and using the Motherlode mine, mix in some cooking flips if you like, and start doing herb runs as soon as possible and never stop. From 1 mil to 3 mil GP, do Varlamore thieving, Slayer tasks that make money like cockatrices, brine rats, and bloodvelds, and feel free to try your luck at early bosses like Obor. From 3 mil to 6 mil, you can do Blast Furnace, Iron and Steel bars, Abyss Rune Crafting, Chaos Cosmic and Nature Runes, Temporos for fishing experience and great GP, Eclectic Implinks for medium clues or jar sales, and Tanning Green Dragonhide for strong profits, along with doing your herb runs every 80 minutes. And from 6 mil to 10 million GP, you can open grubby chests or crystal chests, or simply double down on the 3 to 6 million GP methods and ride it to 10 mil. Now, throughout this entire journey, you want to remember one thing. GP per hour is not everything if you hate the method. Swap to a slightly worse method that you actually enjoy, that way you'll perform better anyways. The whole point of this guide is to teach you how to actually play the game of RuneScape, to where you can start making real money after you get past the early game stages. If you follow this progression, you'll not only hit your first 10 million GP, but you'll also come out with much better stats, important unlocks, and a solid understanding on how to make money anytime you need it in OSRS. And to thank you for reaching this far in the video, I'm going to give one of you a full RuneScape starter kit worth over 50 million GP in supplies to train your account up to the next stage. Just like this video, leave your RuneScape name in the comment section below so I know how to contact you, and be sure to subscribe. Also, you're 100% going to want to watch this next video on how to make your first 100 million GP in Old School RuneScape. I'll see you guys there.